Good afternoon, good evening. It's morning for me. And welcome to the Wealthy LaLa Show with myself, Laurie Laursen. And today is episode 170. How are you doing today? How's it going? Anything new and exciting in your world? Yesterday, I went to just a regular doctor's appointment. I had had a bunch of blood work and x-rays done for a specialist. And so the doctor, my family doctor, called me in. And then all of a sudden he's like, well, Laurie, you really should have this done, and you should have this done, and you should have this done, because have you had this thing done? And I'm like, no. Yes. Well, you choose things when you choose them. So he thinks some of the things he was talking about was mammogram, bone density, pap smear. What other things was he talking about too? Oh, there's this stool sample that checks for colorectal cancer. It's called a FIT test. And so there was other stuff like that. So I kind of came out of that appointment overwhelmed, and I was kind of going into judgment of myself, of the system, and I realized as I sat with that energy and battled with it for a little bit that I went, oh my, Laurie, that's all really heavy. So what does heavy usually mean to you? It's a lie. So I wonder other perspective or questions I can ask or invite myself to that I can create a different possibility here. So as I allowed the day to unfold, it actually was really cool. For each of us, it's going to be different, right? So I actually asked with each of the individual things that the doctor recommended. And most of them were actually yeses. My body was like, yeah, let's do this. And just really allowing myself to not create a battle where there doesn't have to be one. Do you know, these are actually really little areas that we can make really, really big into some kind of shit show. When we're addicted and used to negative, heavy emotions and the familiarity of that, we will go there and think that it's about the system, that it's about it's silly that they ask us to do this, or whatever, just judge whoever and whatever about it and make someone wrong for it. Rather than going, I'm living in this reality, I'm living in this world. Is it possible that that's the universe coming through a doctor, God forbid, and recommending something that's how my body, the universe, is getting me to know about it? Like, do you get that? I mean, I'm talking to me with this right now. Look, Laurie Lynn, do you get that, honey? The doctor could actually be the universe inspiring on your side. So, yeah, I know. I'm cute. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. So anyways, it's just been kind of interesting to see where my mind goes and where I want to make something out of nothing or make something out of something. It might be something, but I want to make it even more out of something. What I'm really grateful for me now, though, is that I don't stay there for very long. I'm really aware of when something is heavy in my world. I still play in it a little longer than probably creates greater. And I do choose something different. Even if it takes me a day, I still choose something different. And, I got to go to the place that, right now I'm quote unquote not working, like at a regular job that I have to show up for. So what's the problem if I need to go to a few of these appointments? Like, what am I going to do? It's interrupting my reading. That is going to be never ending, or watching videos or watching informational classes and stuff like that. So that's never going to end. And I can't do that 24/7. How do I meet interesting people? What if a person who's dressed up as a secretary at one of these offices that I go to ends up being like a new great friend? What if it's someone who says something to me that inspires me so much and changes my life? What if it's another patient? and that I'm sitting next to, and we start up on a conversation. Like, who am I to be like, I could see this. We've gotten so used to finding something wrong with things, judging things without asking questions. And it's funny because right now in this moment, the word arrogance can actually be a really great quality to have. And as with any quality, you can have it work for you or not for you, okay? So you're not going to be arrogant all the time. It ain't going to get you what you want. Just like being really nice all the time is not going to get you what you want. Like sometimes you're going to have to be a little bit arrogant and a little bit demanding to ask people and get what you want. And then there's another time where you got to put a bit of sweetness in it, honey, if you're going to get people to say yes to you, right? And how much does this world demand of us to ask questions and find out what's actually really true? So going back to this arrogance thing, is in this particular case, I can actually find the energy of being arrogant in not a good way. To be like, well, I don't want to have an appointment. Why do I need to have an appointment? Why would the government or whatever recommend us to have a mammogram at this age and for this many things? And so then the doctors get behind it and the nurses get behind it. I mean, I still have choice. I don't have to go. No matter how many appointments they put up for me, I don't have to go. That's going to create something too. And no one can make me do anything I don't want to. Like, I wonder if we realize that. But where the arrogance comes in, what I'm noticing for me is to think that I know everything about everything. And so when I've decided and judged something, that should be the law. And that's the kind of arrogance that I don't choose to have, because I don't get that it creates greater. It's like functioning from these massive conclusions. It's like I've talked about before, it's like where you take all teenagers are jerks, or all women are, well, we know what we've heard they are, or all men are, unhelpful, or, messy, or whatever, or don't listen, But is that actually really true? Do we want ourselves or anyone else to be put in a box of just one thing, right? And I was drawn to pull up this quote, which relates and sort of, is Albert Einstein. He said there's only two ways to live your life: as though nothing is a miracle, or as though everything is a miracle. And what I really like about that is, it's like, have we decided that everything is just one way and not a miracle and hard and judgeable? Or are we actually open to having a life of ease and fun and um miracles? Not the one miracle that everybody waits for. They get a miracle healing, although those are awesome. But the miracles that happen each day, where something tells you to go to the city, you go to the city. That would be for me, unless you live in a city, you're already there. But say you've been told to go to this store and you're like, go now. Okay, I'm going now. And you go there, you run into somebody, you meet someone, you get great service. There's no lineup. You know, like those are actually miracles too. And when we don't know to acknowledge those things, and we continue to focus on the negative parts of life, then that's actually what we end up seeing. And I was listening to Abraham Hicks again yesterday, and one of their videos on YouTube, and it was this: if you keep focusing on what you don't like, you're going to keep getting more of what you don't like. If you focus on what you like, what you desire, it allows that energetically to be brought into your life by law of attraction. Like that is, and I got to tell you guys, like yesterday, in my sort of pissy with I don't want to do these appointments. I don't think I should have to. The healthcare system doesn't get me. I do things differently. Like in all of that. Gosh, now I scrolled myself right off my point. Um, oh my, what the heck was that? Well, am I willing to be playful? Gosh, I really wish I could rewind and hear where I was going on track with that, because I get that it was good. Well, I'm just going to ask the universe to bring it back to me, because if it creates greater to actually continue with it, then I'm going to ask for it. So, yeah, how's it get any better? So, um, yeah, but we focus so much on the negative and the negative and the negative. And, without even knowing, it's like you become where you just notice everything negative. You go to a family function and that's without even knowing, you radar for it. Would you believe it's like having to literally build a muscle to see things that are quote unquote positive, or the things where people do come and support each other? Even if someone is really difficult and they got 10%, that's awesome. It could be, man, they only have 10% that's awesome. They got 90% that's awful. If we keep looking at the 90% that's awful, we're going to keep getting the 90% that's awful. And in a way, like that's it's kind of what I did, like right with the healthcare system. I worked in it, believed it, subscribed to it. Well, I think, yeah. And then got sick, started to do alternative stuff. And then all of a sudden I went from being right wing to completely left wing. And now I'm much more in the middle, maybe even not quite in the middle, maybe still just a little bit left wing. And excuse me. What I'm just realizing right now is, what if that's actually awareness? So I'm actually aware that I'm not quite ready yet to receive the healthcare system as it is, but maybe that's because I don't actually have to. And when I went to the appointment yesterday and then found out about all these things that my family doctor who cares for me would like me to do, um, I'm I'm in resistance to it. I don't have to choose it all. I can ask questions and then find out what's actually true for me and then just choose forward. So what if that's actually the invitation for each of us? So I don't, yeah. So I'm not even really sure where I am with the right wing, left wing thing anymore. I think I'm wherever each situation actually really takes me. That's actually really what's like. And so in one time, it's going to be where I'm going to choose to have blood work and x-rays and a mammogram and a pap smear and, of whatever, and every, other things that they request. And then other times it's going to be no. Nope, that actually doesn't work for me. I need to find something different. What else is possible here? And getting into the questions and having it not be either or. What if it's choosing 60% of the things they suggest and 40% I say no to at this point? But then maybe 3 months down the line, my body's like, hey, you know what? A mammogram right now might be a good idea. Oh, okay. Well, then let's do it. Like, how many things are we actually really to choose? We willing to choose when we actually know we have choice with it? So how many of us as kids did not feel like we had choice with things? And that's what we fight for. Oh gosh, that's like a whole nother show, hey? Yeah. Is there a place in your life where you're fighting for something because you didn't before feel like you had choice with it, but that choice that where you're fighting with it now actually doesn't choose greater for you? It's kind of like you're not supposed to have candy. You're not supposed to have candy. Don't eat candy. Don't have candy before dinner or whatever like that. And then so here's an adult, you're like, you know what? I'm going to have candy whenever I want. And maybe you have 40 extra pounds or 5 extra pounds or 100 extra pounds that aren't working for you anymore. So it's like when we choose something in resistance, but we don't actually see that as us we're choosing it in resistance, it's actually not creating what we want in our lives, and really being honest with ourselves. So yeah. So as Albert Einstein says, there are only two ways to live your life: as though nothing is a miracle, or as though everything is a miracle. Can you find the little miracles in your life? Can you find the places in your life where you're used to judging and or concluding, or you've decided that's a certain way and you could maybe be a little more open? So, yeah. I wonder, hey? There's always more. I find, sometimes this stuff can seem awfully overwhelming. Like when you start to look around your life and you go, oh my gosh, I'm actually judging or concluding in a lot of different areas. And what keeps me going is that when something lets go, like a conclusion or a decision, or I see something from a different perspective, I'm no longer judging me or someone else or whatever. The freedom, the space, the kindness, the beauty that comes with it is beyond anything that I had while holding on to those things. So that's what keeps me going. And I ask the universe to make it fun and playful and have fun peeps to play with. Because let me tell you, that helps too. Anyways, you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks so much for listening. And if it's light and fun for you, please share my radio show, with your friends on social media. I'd be so grateful. Thank you so much. Have a great day.